Welcome back, everybody, to our Bible study. We're going to try to do Leviticus chapter 9 in 5 minutes today. There's a free PDF that you can download on our website at tobelikechrist.com. The events of Leviticus chapter 9 took place probably around 1490 BC. These aren't events per se, but they're a series of laws and instructions that God gave to the Israelite people, how he wanted them to live. In our definition section, we've got two terms here to define and to clarify. The first one is a bull calf. And so this is a designation of livestock. A bull is a male animal and a calf is a young animal, typically under 9 months old. And then we have Aaron's sons. Aaron had 4 sons who served under him as priests in the tabernacle. Their names were Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Now moving on into our outline, if you remember in the last chapter, chapter 8, we were talking about the ordination of the priests, Aaron as the high priest and his sons below him. So this is kind of a continuation of that. Moses gathers the people and the priest after the 7 days of ordination. This is verses 1 through 6. So after the 7 days of the priest's ordination were completed, Moses told Aaron to collect a bull calf for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. The people of Israel were supposed to bring some things as well. A male goat for a sin offering, a calf and a lamb for a burnt offering, an ox and a ram for a peace offering, and grain mixed with oil for a grain offering. So when all of the animals were brought, the people gathered at the tabernacle, and Moses told them that the glory of the Lord was going to appear to them there. We then move on to verses 7 through 14, Aaron's sin offering and burnt offering for himself. So Moses told Aaron to take the animals that had been brought for the sacrifices and to make atonement for himself. Aaron offered a bull calf as a sin offering for himself and for his own sins, and he put its blood on the 4 horns of the bronze altar. He then killed and offered the ram as a burnt offering according to the instructions that God had outlined in Leviticus chapter 1. So Aaron had to offer those things for his own sins because he was sinful just like any other man. Now we move on to verses 15 through 21. Aaron sacrifices on behalf of the people of Israel. Aaron offered a sin offering, a burnt offering, and a grain offering for the Israelites using the items that they had brought. And afterwards, he killed the ox and ram and made peace offerings for the people. And as part of the peace offering, part of the ram was offered as a wave offering. And finally, in verses 20 through 24, kind of a cool section, God accepts Aaron's offerings. So after Aaron had completed all of these sacrifices, he lifted up his hands and he blessed the people. And Moses and Aaron went into the tent of meeting, and when they came out, the, quote, glory of the Lord appeared to all of the people. And fire came out from the Lord and consumed the offerings that were on the altar, showing God's approval of what was done. And finally, just a quick application as we close here. In this chapter, we see Moses and Aaron acting as liaisons between God and the common Israelite people. Moses spoke to God and communicated God's messages to the people, and then Aaron offered sacrifices on the people's behalf. Well, when we go over into the New Testament, the second half of the Bible that tells us about the life of Jesus, we see that Jesus filled both of those roles and continues to fill both of those roles for us today. He delivered God's new law and God's instructions to his people, Hebrews chapter 9, verse 15, and he offered the final sacrifice once for all for the sins of the world, Hebrews 10:10 and 1 John 2, verse 2.